In this episode, it's called Staying Fit During Quarantine. And today's top stories include how to breathe like a singer when you need to breathe effectively, 7 tips to get fit at home, and the brain, the heart, and the gut connection. We're coming live from a lockdown in Houston with Ernesto Verdugo and a lockdown in Dubai with Dave Crane. You are watching the Toilet Paper Diaries.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Ernesto. Are you in as much lockdown as we are?
I am. Yesterday at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, we received one of those Amber Alerts or those messages that they send through the phone. And they told us that at midnight, the curfew started and we had to be locked down. And another interesting news from my side of the world is that the governor of Rhode Island has already closed the borders with New York, and we are hearing that very soon also the state of Louisiana and the state of Texas are also going to be closing their borders. And this happens because after New York, Louisiana is the place with most infected people with the coronavirus, and that has to do with Mardi Gras, which I think it was an absolute mistake that they actually had Mardi Gras during that time. What's going on in Dubai?
Hold on, can I just rewind that? When did Mardi Gras happen?
Yeah, Mardi Gras happened at the end of February.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, well, I'll tell you about Dubai in a second, but I'm just going to say that the constitutional issues there in the US is by the original documents, people who are Americans should be able to pass between states without anybody stopping them. That's the whole point of having a visa, or, well, being an American citizen. So the minute that gets locked down, that calls into play lots of constitutional issues. I understand why it's happening, but I mean, as long as it's not happening because you're from a different state, so people from your own state who've been outside get put into quarantine for 14 days as well.
Well, we honestly do not really know exactly how it's going to be playing. We're basically seeing it how it is just working out right now. Right now, the border also between the U.S. and Mexico has been closed, but not not as much from the Mexico to the U.S. side. Not from the U.S. to the Mexico side. Well, now without me getting confused, the Mexican side is been pretty much closed, so that Americans are not going into Mexico. So I think it's absolutely weird times. So now tell me what's going on in Dubai.
Okay, we've just had 3 days of complete lockdown as they sprayed everything. So they had these drones, and when you see a picture, I don't know if we got a picture of a person next to a drone. These drones are pretty big. You can see one there. It looks like the Terminator when they had the flying drones that were chasing him around. And they're actually a good old size, like the size of a motorbike when they're next to a person. So they're going around spraying everybody. And so for 3 days, we've been under lockdown, as in don't leave your house unless you really have to, for food and essentials only, pharmacy trips. Bring your ID. You will get stopped by the police, especially if you're seen doing it, and do not leave the house for definite between 8 p.m. and 6 in the morning because of lockdown. Well, during the time on Saturday night, there's been 63 new cases that have come out in Dubai, and so they've extended it for a week. Now, I understand it completely, and I get it, and I'm really grateful that they're making these decisions. What happens is how we all have to interpret that. Now, as many people will know, I've got 2 big dogs. I live in a reasonably sized house, a relatively small garden, because we live near lots of desert spots where we can just take the dogs for a walk every morning. So I've got a big black Belgian Shepherd, a big white Swiss Shepherd, but we can't take them out. You're allowed a 3-minute toilet break. Now, imagine taking out 2 horses or 2 lions. It's just not going to happen. So we really can't take them out. So the challenge for them is to not go stir crazy, because what not happens normally is first thing in the morning, they're like, right, let's go out, daddy. Of course, we've had 3 days of me just ignoring that and feeding them instead. But another 7 days, I don't know how that's going to affect the dogs, because, I mean, they don't say anything, but anybody who's got pets, unless they're goldfish, that need to go out and experience life outside, it's very hard to explain to them that this is the way it is. So it's a bit of a challenge. We're going to be opening up a back garden. We're going to cut down some trees and twigs, get rid of them, and leave them a little bit more space to run about. So hopefully that'll alleviate a lot of the pressures on the dogs as well. But I feel for anybody who's got animals, I wasn't prepared for this either.
That is crazy. And I see also here on the UAE newspaper that the fines are actually very heavy for people that actually violate the quarantine. I mean, up to 50,000 dirhams, which is something like about $15,000 if you are not complying. And I mean, if you're operating when you're not supposed to be operating and whatever, the fines are quite hefty. Over here also, I mean, if you could be fined up to $1,000. $1,000 or 30 days in jail. This is just really crazy.
And the fear is that going to jail, how do you check whether the people that you're nearby are going to be coronavirus free? It's
that's exactly what I was asking yesterday to John, my wife, when I was actually looking at this news. You go to jail and there's going to be they're going to put you with all these people there.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I get it. The government doing a great job, and I completely agree with them, certainly in Dubai. Let's take another week. Let's not mess about with this. Let's keep everybody as safe and sound as we possibly can. But it's a real challenge for many people. And I tell you what, I'm really lucky that I've got the dogs, I've got the wife, I've got Maya in the house, because we can work it out. It's like being in a soap opera that doesn't switch itself off. The challenge for anybody is who's living on their own. And if you've been told you got another 7 days of isolation, that's a massive challenge to have to deal with. I really hope that these people are not just stuck on their phones. I mean, because in Dubai, you've got a lot of people living in hotels. Hotel accommodation, for instance, where you might have 6 people, 4 people, however many to a big room. Now, I don't know whether they're separated or they have to live together. I would imagine they all have to live together. So that's got its own challenges that go with it. But anybody who's single, who's got, whether it's a studio flat, which is very common out here, or it's just even a couple of rooms, do you then break your own curfew to actually get human contact with your neighbors? Or are you signing a little death sentence? Or at least a real worry by doing it. So I really feel for everybody who's involved in that situation. And we have talked at length about different ways of being able to deal with it. We will go back to that in future episodes and some more from today. Get on the internet, get your communication going and talk to people. Get on the phone and make sure that you know that you're not the only person there in this world. There's lots of other people the same way as you, and feel that there's a community. That's the best way to deal with it. You're not alone, and that's one of the reasons that you and I have created this show. So every day, without fail, we're here at 9 o'clock in Dubai and 12 o'clock lunchtime in Houston, just to connect and let people know the world's all right. Well, the world's all right if you want to look like me or look like Ernesto, but you probably look a lot better. So your world might be more fun than ours. And we're going to be talking about that later on, because I really, 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 really want to get you on the fatness challenge before the end of the show. I don't care.
Absolutely. We'll get started on that. But just let me share with you something which I think it's quite funny. Right now, they are recommending that you do not play with kids, younger kids. Where's Waldo? I mean, they are right now the worst Waldo. You can see here, a street in New York with absolutely nobody, and then you can immediately find Waldo. So that's Waldo 2020. And then you can see here another page there with Waldo. And this is one reality that we are basically facing. I think at this point in time, the quarantine is our reality. We don't have to see it, in a negative way or in a positive way. We have to basically just accept it as a part of the reality. And that also brings me to something which I also saw recently in a website, and they were saying, well, who's the most stupid here? And if you just see it there, it's number 4. Number 4 is the one which is going to cut himself, and the one which is the safest is number 3. And this really reminds me of how the situation is here. I mean, we should not either be stupid or try to compromise someone else. And I love these. I love this quote that I found there. You're not stuck at home. You're safe at home. One word can change your attitude, and one cough can change your life. So I think it's important that we embrace the reality where we are. From what I understood, and this is, bear in mind, this information is just from Houston. The University of Texas mentioned, the University of Texas, the health department or whatever it is, faculty or whatever it is, that they say that they were doing some studies through artificial intelligence, and they are predicting that the worst of the S curve of the coronavirus here in Houston is going to be on the 7th of April, and they are estimating that the lockdown might finish on the 13th of May. So those are the facts of what they are sharing here. I do not know how it is in other parts of the world or of the country, but that is what's going on.
Yeah, we don't have any details like that here, and I'm sure we'll be informed as and when it comes. Just that picture we had there, I just want to know why people are in a tree with sharpened weapons. I don't know why they're actually doing it in the first place. It can't be good. I mean, one of the things I found fascinating, and it's actually about your part of the world, and I get it, if you live there, it's different. From an outside, it's really strange. But when it comes to what's essential things that are allowed to be open, you're allowed to have a pharmacy open, you're allowed to have a hospital open, you're allowed to have a restaurant for delivery only and grocery shops. But in Texas, you're allowed to have gun shops open. Now, that's a load of questions from a Brit where you don't allow, there are no gun laws allowing anyone to hold a handgun or any gun. It's kind of strange, but I guess you're setting yourself up for a zombie apocalypse or something.
Dave, do you really want to get involved in that conversation live?
Here's the thing. No, I don't want to go there at all. I'm just sharing it. It was an observation. Let's not go there. And one of the things I found fascinating is, and it's a video we can't share here. We chose actually not to share here, which was in the streets of India, where in India, they've got 1.3 billion people. We're given about 4 hours to get ready for lockdown, which meant that, about several million people in the wrong place, wrong time, no access to food, who are walking. The migrant workers have to walk back to their villages to hopefully then go into some kind of quarantine mode. But there's a video that has gone viral of policemen riding around on motorbikes, hitting people with a red stick to make people realize this is serious, get inside. And it's almost comical because you just can't believe it's happening. But I guess it's the best, most effective way to let people take it serious. So I think that we have to have empathy for everybody wherever they are, to have to deal with things the way that they feel is the best way to move forward.
That is correct. Talking, I mean, we have been already covering a lot of information of what has been going on. It's a good thing that it's a weekend, because of course we want to make sure that we stick to what we promised, that we were going to be talking about staying fit during the quarantine. And this is an interesting topic, because I started searching what were people searching for on the search engines, whether it was YouTube or whether it was Google or whether it was Yahoo. And besides all the information that they have been sharing about the quarantine and the COVID-19 and the coronavirus, the most search term was staying fit during quarantine. And I definitely believe that this is a here we go. This is a topic that it will be very hard, at least for me, to talk about, because I am not a fitness expert. And I mean, from obviously I know you from a number of years, and I don't think that you're a fitness expert either. So
I'm an intermittent expert. I go in and out of cycles of deciding to get fit and then just going, you know what? I can't be bothered. And the challenge for me is because of travel. That's my humble excuse. When you travel, you're at a conference, you have no choice but to eat and drink whatever you're given. You're tired, and it just throws out any routine that you have, especially if it's overseas. So that's my humble but rubbish excuse.
Okay, so well, basically, what I started seeing is I started looking for videos on YouTube to see what were people actually posting, and most of the videos of staying fit were for people that were really super fit. But I know and I empathize with absolutely everybody, which is not on that category. Which I think the two of us are not in that category. That well, I mean, what can we do just to keep ourselves fit? And one of the things that I mean, before you launch the challenge for me, because I know that it's there and I do not know what it is. I want to tell you that, and you don't have to indulge me in this one. I know that it is. Not. I mean, I'm going to tell you something that got me really inspired. I watched yesterday. I watched this video. This video is from Garrett Cole, and Garrett Cole and his wife. Garrett Cole. I mean, for those of you who do not know who Garrett Cole is, he's one of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball. And he, of course, cannot pitch. He cannot do anything. So we're seeing him here practicing catch with his wife. Now, the interesting thing about this is that he throws about 70 or 80 miles an hour. I mean, normally he pitches up to 90 miles, but right now he's throwing at 70 to 80 miles. Look at her, for crying out loud. I mean, she also has a cannon for an arm. And then I started saying, well, isn't that super cool? And me, that I am a big baseball fan, what I promised myself, and what I also promised my son Vincent, was that we were going to be playing catch. So my commitment, my promise, and this is what I am saying in front of everybody on the audience, what I'm going to start doing is from now until the 13th of May, or whenever the lockdown happens, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be playing catch with my son Vincent. So that's what I am committing myself in my abilities to do.
Pathetic. That's it. So you're going to have one arm that looks like Popeye, and the rest of you is still going to look like Barney. No, we have to do more than that. We'll have no
clue. I mean, you have no clue what throwing catches. I mean, you work your entire body when you're doing that. I mean, it's not only the arm. You get your entire body to warm up. So it's a very good exercise.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw the challenge at you later on. You can choose whichever method you want to use, okay?
Well,
and if it's playing catch, if it's playing throw and catch, that's fine. If you want to play tiddlywinks or cards or a game of chess, any of that stuff, I have no issue with that. It's up to you. Okay, let's move on.
I am just here... and the warm-up is a mile run.
Yay!
That's my wife commenting there.
Your wife is on my side.
Nice comments, and we're also here. We're getting also some comments from Frank Mulcahy. Frank Mulcahy is actually coming to that topic. I told you should not get into that topic, the Second Amendment, the right to protect your family. God bless Texas. I told you that you should not get involved in that topic.
Frank, I love you to bits. I knew, as I was saying it, you know what? I was seeing Frank in my head and waiting for him to get inspired. And I knew he would do. Stay safe, Frank. Lots of love. Okay, so with that, we've got our challenge. Should we do a challenge now, or should we save it until later? Let's work towards it.
Throw me the challenge.
You go for it now? Okay, here's the challenge. And we can do it any way we want to. You can play catch, tiddlywinks, and chess, and try on different hats. Whatever you think is the best way to do it. We have to get a photo of us now, or a very recent photo of us, taken by our partners in all our natural fatness, not naked, because that would be horrendous for everybody, including ourselves and our partners. And the challenge is we have to look at the end of this period of time like we did about 10 years ago. Now, I can't do anything about the grey hair. That's here to stay for a while. But I would suggest what we do, because I know you're a bit of a fashion guru. You probably haven't got any clothes left from 10 years ago. I've got a couple of old suits. We've got to be able to wear something we've not been able to wear for quite some time that we haven't chucked out to prove that we're able to do it. Now, I don't know how we do this. We'll have to look through old photos, maybe 10 years ago, and see something we were wearing, which we know we could never fit into. And so that's what we've got to work towards. And I'll go through some of the steps of how to get that to be created. because I think we should throw that challenge out to everybody as well. Because if you're a regular viewer of a show and you join in with it and you're enjoying what we're doing, why not? I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, apart from binge eating while watching Netflix in between watching episodes of the Toilet Paper Diaries, this challenge is open to all our contributors and also to everybody who's watching. So we'd love you to join in. And everybody who does take part in it will put your picture up in lights and share who you are, what you're doing, so you can also force yourself to have to stick to it.
Absolutely. That's great. Okay. Challenge accepted. By the way, right now I am receiving a message here that we have our first correspondent of the day. She's Andrea Gomez, which is, it's a celebrity here in Texas in the Hispanic community more than anything. And she's right now live with us with some tips on how to remain fit for today. So let me just bring her just there, and let's go with Andrea.
Weights. So the alternative for that is don't throw away the empty bowls. You can put more water and use it as weights, or you can put sand. I found also this that is full of water. You can put also water and use it as a weight, or simple. A can of food, you can use it as weight. So it's not excuse. You can do it with your kids that they're now at home, so the whole family can keep in shape. It's very important during this time to keep a routine, wake up early or as any time before 10 o'clock at least, take a shower, get dressed, work out, exercise, and do everything that you need to do. It's not an excuse, as I said. If you are at home, just keep yourself in shape. It's good for the mind, and it's good for your body. And believe me, this thing one is, and at least you didn't gain a lot of weight just eating, and just sitting in the couch and watching TV. So hey guys, remember, toilet paper, it can be used for something else. So back to you to the studio.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened. I mean, was she okay in the audio and everything, or was it?
It froze a little bit. I didn't know whether that's a problem with the transmission from where she is right now. But we got the general idea. The idea is, and thanks very much for that, Andrea, is you have lots of items around the house that you can use. And she's got an amazing big pool as well in the back garden. I think after they move into her house, man, you can't get in trouble. But there are lots of household items that you can use. And she was sharing there that you can get these big liter water bottles, rather than throwing them out, fill them up with tap water, and they make very good weights for doing regular repetitive exercise. They're not particularly heavy, but you can use them from hand to hand and so on. And also, she was mentioning about the fact that you can get your family involved in it as well, which is something I think I may do with my.
I was. No, that's great. I was just looking for some videos about how people are actually getting fit. And I found this video, which I thought it was quite interesting, from Nathan Haas. Now, if you do not know who Nathan Haas is, he is Peloton.
We're going to teach
Let me just put it in quiet. He's one of the famous cyclists in Australia. And very interesting, as you were saying, there's a lot of people living in Dubai, stranded in a hotel. This is one of them. He's actually right now in a hotel. He's living in a hotel. And you can see that, he's doing this video in a funny way, but also he's doing it seriously. That this is how he's doing his workouts, because he cannot get out of the hotel. So he's using, the suitcases to do lifting, and he's jumping on the bed and all sorts of things. So it's just interesting. Once again, neither Dave or myself are experts on health or fitness, but it is just very interesting to see and observe what people are doing to remain fit.
It's very interesting, and it's great to see this video. And I feel for everybody who's stuck overseas and can't get back to their family, and they only have literally a suitcase full of clothing that they brought with them. A massive challenge. There's a lot of things that we'll have to discuss about life after coronavirus and how to stay sane and safe as you just progress. And there's a handstand push-ups. One thing I must stress for everybody is these guys, Nathan Haas and his colleague there, are quite clearly athletes, professional athletes, and so they have a huge level of fitness that goes with it anyway. If you are going to do this at home, I would always suggest don't go down that route. Stay safe. The last thing you want to do is injure yourself and have to venture out and go to a hospital where they've already got a ton of things that they're going to look after. They don't want to have to look after you with like a sprained wrist or a broken arm or a couple of pulled muscles because you've been a bit daft pushing yourself too far at home. You can do it safely, and there are lots of videos available on how people who are not particularly fit can get their act together and work their way in stages. Remember, it's like a marathon. You don't have to run it all in one go. You need to put one foot in front of the other and repeat, and it ends up being a marathon. This is about a long play game. You don't have to make huge changes. And even though Ernesto and I are joking about getting fit, well, we're not joking, we mean it. I don't expect it to happen overnight, and I don't want it to happen overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we are setting ourselves a goal up to the 13th of May, which I think it's, I mean, we do not know if that's the date, but at least for the first time I've ever seen a date of when things are going to be moving forward. And yeah, I mean, we're going to be setting that date, and I hope we will actually lose some weight and we be a little bit more fit, whether it is me throwing catch and possibly going for a run with John, my wife, which I think she will be very, very happy with. But yeah, that's the important thing. I mean, the important thing of staying fit is, you know, we have to start thinking that we're going to be confined for a little bit of time, but we have to remain and doing exercising and eating well, which I think it's also an important thing. Do you have 7 tips, Dave, that you wanted to share on how to remain fit? Would you like to share them now?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with all the tips and things that we give out, feel free to watch the replay of the video and make notes then, or make notes as we go along. We don't have the technology for putting it up on the screen right now because there's only Ernesto and myself, and we're doing this for free and the love of our hearts and the love of helping you. We haven't got the time to get it all, so we go through as best as we can. All right, first of all, thank you. Yeah, that's play piano is point number 1. Play piano really close to your chin and look like a big hairy Spider-Man. That's the first tip. Okay, first tip is this. You have a number of items in the house that you can use to work out. You have furniture, you've got tables, you've got tins, you've got shoes, you've got a number of different weights that you can create. You don't have to actually get to a gym to be able to do this stuff. And in many cases, certainly there's a fine for anybody who's caught going into public places, certainly in Dubai and the UAE. And imagine your country is the same kind of thing because you shouldn't be going out the house. These are things that you can do easily in the house just by finding a strip of land or a strip of space in a room or in a corridor or at the top of the stairs, but watch what you're doing at the top of the stairs, where you've got some space where you can lie down completely flat. That's enough space for most exercises to be able to be done. So you can use furniture and you can do it in your house. Point number 2 is there are a million different experts online on YouTube with courses that you can have for free about how to work out at home. Right now, every single expert, every gym trainer, every professional fitness advisor and coach is making videos on how you can do it at home. Watch them and find somebody that suits you. Put together a routine that seems like a complete all-body one, and that's what you should be working towards. If you like them, pay attention to them. If you don't like them, move on to somebody else. I would suggest what you look at is starting easily, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then just get a routine that works. Fit it into your daily routine. 20 minutes a day is all you need to do. You don't need to do a full hour. 20 minutes a day to 25 every single day, maybe morning, evenings, up to you. You don't have to go crazy, then it's really good. If you can build it into meditation as well, or a bit of yoga and stretching, then that'd be perfect. Best thing to do is get a timetable that you can keep, that you can print out, or you can write down, and you stick to that. Number 3 is eat as best as you can to support this. Now, I know it's a very big challenge for people because eating is eating. And what you've got in your fridge and the back of the cupboard sometimes is what you're working on. Sometimes you're ordering food in. If you can, make it easy for yourself by not filling yourself with too much stuff that's going to make it difficult to work out. But making sure you got food coming is more important than anything. So eat healthily to support it. Avoiding sugar and avoiding stuff. I mean, in my case, it's gluten or milk that might be a challenge. Number 4 is sleeping. One of the major things, and I was really guilty of this for a very long time. I used to sleep about 4 hours a day because I didn't particularly like sleeping, partly because I had sleep apnea, which made it very challenging to go to sleep for me. Subconsciously, I didn't like it, but also because I like to work really full days. So I'd work 16, 18 hours a day easily every day. But I realize now how much power goes into getting a full 6 to 7, maybe even 8 hours of sleep. Right now, your challenges are down, unless you are doing business overseas, but you can still do it in intermittent spurts. Make sure you get as much proper sleep and rest as you can do, because that's what fuels your workouts. That's what allows you, when you rip muscles, by the way, if you didn't know it, when you're making muscles happen, it's because you rip the old ones and they grow back stronger. That's basically why when you go to a gym and they make you push and it hurts and you don't want to do it anymore, that's how the muscles work. Okay, number 5, yoga, meditation, self-hypnosis. These are all excellent ways of adding to your fitness routine. Yoga is an essential part of doing it, as well as stretching exercises. Meditation is very good as well. And self-hypnosis can help drive the way that you do it. It's your mind and your body are important with the health and the fitness as well, not just working physically, because you need to be able to live in this house now for quite some time. So make sure you've got the balance of them. Also, number 6, you can get a trainer. Now, you can do it the cheap way, which is going to YouTube and just follow somebody. They usually have programs that you can download and freebie programs you can get. You might want to invest in actually hiring a trainer who can train you at the same time every day. You might want to connect with friends who are willing to go into a fitness routine, so you both train at the same time every day, and you make a fitness buddy or a group from work or some friends that you just social with. Like myself and Ernesto, we keep different hours. Otherwise, we'd probably end up forcing each other to work out at the same time. But you don't necessarily have to even spend money. You can do a barter deal. So if you've got certain skill sets that maybe your local fitness coach would like for instance, you might be very good at digital marketing. You could help them to boost their business while they help you to get fit. So always explore the bartering process first, because right now money is precious, as are many other commodities, and creating community spirit can be one of the best things you can do in any way, shape, or form. And the last thing, number 7, is that, like I said to Ernesto, this is not about me versus Ernesto. This is about you versus you. Push yourself by all means, but this is not about becoming a beefcake and being like all the actors and sports people you see who are professional athletes. This is about becoming a better, happier version of you. And what you find that by doing exercise, and everybody who says you've got to cope with the challenges of staying fit includes exercise, because the endorphins that you release that make you like, it's like a natural happy drug, means that you just feel better in yourself. So if you find yourself becoming depressed or feeling fat or feeling stressed or anxious, when you work out, it helps to alleviate that. So those are the 7 things I would say are very useful and essential for staying fit during quarantine lockdown.
That's awesome advice, Dave. I am actually seeing here one message from Tracy Zimmerman. She is saying challenge accepted. So Tracy, we will be also checking out with you once in a while, just to see how you're actually progressing on this challenge. Dave, you know, one of the challenges that I find with these shows that we're doing, I mean, we want to be with people for as long as possible. We want to really remain online for long. But of course, I mean, times just goes by so fast while we are doing this. We have promised yesterday, we actually unfulfilled the promise that we were going to be giving the virtual choir training. And today I wanted to talk about the heart, mind, and gut connection. And we said that we were going to be also talking about how to breathe like a singer. And you know, it's so hard. I mean, if we try to cover everything that we said that we were going to cover, we are going to end up with another 15-20 minutes of show. So right now it's weekends. I know that well, Sydney, hi Sydney, Sydney, Tracy, Joan, Frank, whoever is watching right now. Is it okay if we extend a little bit the show, or shall we keep actually this information for tomorrow? I mean, that might be.
Here's my thoughts on Ernesto. Where else is everybody going to go? What have they got that's so essential that they want us to stop so early? If they don't want to watch us, we're going to go click. In fact, many might go click anyway if they've been watching us this long. So I think a couple of things, especially if we can get hold of Michael and get him to give his report on breathing, that'd be really essential to put in this show, regardless of when we finish.
Perfect. So let me get Michael. Michael in the Netherlands, are you there? Michael is there. So let me just bring him up to speed. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Dave. Hi, Ernesto. Thank you so much. This is Michael Dieterich coming from the Netherlands. People are already going a little stir crazy from this lockdown, even in America. Here in Holland, we're already going on 2 weeks, and our lockdown is going to last until the 1st of June at least. So that's months. Let's prepare for a long haul. If you go a little stir crazy inside, today I've got a tip for you that is not only going to help relax you, make you a little bit more zen, but remember that the coronavirus is a respiratory illness. So what would happen if you could increase your lung capacity? If you do get sick, you're going to want to be able to breathe. So as a former singer, I'm going to give you a nice tip today. First thing you're going to need to do is get a metronome. Now, if you have a piano, you may have one. You can also download one online. You can also very easily just Google metronome, and it will do it for you right there. You're going to want to find 80 beats per minute. Now, that is this speed here. I'm going to play it for you. If this sound of this clicking is boring, you can also type in songs that are 80 beats per minute. For example, Halo by Beyonce or Kashmir by Led Zeppelin are perfect examples. Because you want these counts of 4 going on. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. What's going to happen is over 4 counts, you're going to breathe in and completely fill your lungs. Then for 4 counts, you're going to hold that breath in. Then for 4 counts, you're going to completely expel all the air over those 4 counts. And then you're going to keep your lungs empty for 4 counts. It goes like this. I'll count it off. 4, 3, oh, here we go. 3, 2, we go like this. In. Hold. Out. Hold it out. And repeat. Hold. Out. Hold it out. You're going to want to do this for like 2 minutes. You can do this lying down. You can do this in the shower. You don't want to be doing this like, outside or in the supermarket, high-risk areas. But if you're in the safety of your own home, it's a great breathing exercise. If you do this for a week, 2 things will happen. This is going to be this 2 minutes a day where you're just concentrating on your breathing, and it doesn't have to be as deep as meditation. And the second thing is, slowly your lung capacity will increase, which is only going to be a benefit during this time. Enjoy, keep breathing, keep safe, keep sane, and keep inside. Thanks. Back to you guys in the studio.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Michael. I'm getting some really nice comments. Sydney Young, hello, how are you? He's saying, love the show, the only international show I'm aware of. I love it. Thank you very much for the nice comments. If anyone else is also watching the show and they would like to be featured, as Sydney is there right now, please make sure to comment. And we will be very happy to feature you right now also there on the show. Dave, what we have still pending? A couple of things.
There's a couple of things still pending. I just want to say that one of the reasons I liked what Michael was talking about is because the coronavirus itself is a challenge about breathing. And so that might be an essential way to help you survive if you've trained your lungs to have a bigger capacity, if you know that you can hold it and extend your lungs and breathe more effectively because you've created muscles internally over a period of time. So as we're doing our fitness stuff, I'm going to add that to my stuff. I'm going to go on, find a metronome, as you see from Google, and I'll just follow that for 2 minutes every single day. Thanks to Michael. I think it's a great suggestion for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Michael, for that great update. I wanted to share with you something which I think you're going to definitely take into consideration as you are going through this lockdown process. And I want you guys to know, and this might not be only on fitness, but I think this is also has to do on well-being and how you're going to be thinking from now on. I've been studying psychology for a number of years. It's pop psychology, not clinical psychology, but more than anything, the kind of thing that you can get applied. And one of the things that has served me very well throughout these times is the fact that you have to understand that there's three ways that your mind processes information. One is through the heart, second is through the brain, and last is through the gut. And what happens is that these three elements, these three organs in your body, do have a very different way of expressing themselves or interpreting information. So right now, through the period that we're going, there's a ton of things that we need to get into consideration. So from the heart part, right now, the heart needs to be used to connect. And this is my first tip for you today. This is a business tip, a personal tip. Connecting is absolutely critical. It's not about sending massive emails, but trying to connect with people, trying to show people that you're empathic, trying to show people that you're there for them, and also be open for them connecting to you. I think right now is the perfect time to connect. So right now we can use our heart and be open to helping, to connecting, to providing value, which is exactly why Dave and I are doing this. We're actually doing this out of our hearts. On the brain part, this is the part that you're going to have to already start thinking how to reinvent yourself. I am very happy because yesterday I was having a conversation with Pete Garcia, who is the managing director of the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce, and he's liking actually the process of what we're doing on this show. And we were talking about having a new show also together with him. So it's going to be actually, I'm going to be his co-host, but he's going to be also doing a show for the members of the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce here in Texas. And he told me, well, I would like the name to be called Preparing to Unmask. And that name is, I think, brilliant, because the moment that we unmask, let's say that it's going to be on the 13th of May, we're going to have to be reinvented. And that's why your brain needs to be focused on reinventing yourself. You have to reinvent yourself. You have to use every single thing that you have here in your mind on how to reinvent yourself, because the world is going to be completely different. And I think that's one of the subjects that we're going to be covering, one full episode very soon, on how we're going to be, what are the new things which are going to happen after we come out of this coronavirus. And then the other one is going to be your gut. And this is the one which is the trickiest, because your gut is your feelings. Oh my goodness, shall I do this? Shall I not do that? Shall I do this? Shall I not do that? So, and in your gut, sometimes what happens is that you have the hunches, you have the gut feeling that doesn't let you act. And it's the thing that is possibly going to keep you back. So right now, you need to trust your heart. You need to use your brain, and you need to use your gut for awareness. But right now, it's not the time to actually listen to your gut and respond to whatever your gut says, because if not, most likely you're going to be afraid. You need to use your gut to be aware, but not to actually listen 100% of what's going on there, because if not, you're going to be afraid. So the best way to describe this, what I'm telling you, is normally in your stomach, whenever you have anxiety, whenever you're a little bit afraid, you have butterflies in your stomach. I mean, and this is exactly what it is. By listening to your heart, by listening to your brain, you are going to get, like Mark Victor Hansen used to say, you are going to get your butterflies in your stomach flying in formation. So I think there's a connection of the three of them. And in these times, we absolutely have to make sure that we are using those three elements. And let me just go back to Dave. Dave, are you there? I lost. Oh, there you are. There you are.
As if by magic, I suddenly reappear. Thanks, Ernesto. That's fascinating. I love when you share how things work. And the time that we've known each other, and we've been really, I mean, we've been like brothers now for over 20 years. One thing I love about what you do is you deconstruct and you reverse engineer real things in real life. And what you shared there is a really interesting breakdown of how decisions are being made and really how people should appreciate how what they're going through right now is a conflict between what's in their heart, what's in their brain, and what's in their stomach. Your brain tells you that you should be thinking about how we're going to get out of this because it seems dangerous and terrible. Your heart says we should reach out to people and we should care about people. And your gut says, I hate everybody because they're probably going to be a big problem. And you got to fight against that and say, yeah, but also the solution. Your gut is telling you as a warning. And sometimes you need to say, thank you very much. I get that, and ignore it and do the right thing anyway. So we'll be helping you with that decision-making process in the future, because one of the shows that we will do, maybe not yet, a little bit later, is life after the virus. And so we want to be able to share with you what happens. I was just thinking about it today with the extension of the Dubai lockdown, that I never go camping. I mean, the idea of going out and doing my business in a hole in the sand has never interested me. But I've got to admit now, the opportunity to go out and just be under the stars and cook some food outside is something that really, really has been knocking on my door in my head for the last 24 hours. So I think you'll see a real change around in what people's habits are. I think you get a lot more businesses happening from the home, certainly, but I think you'll find a lot more people wanting to go out, exercise, and do activities. And once that starts happening, it'll stick. But we're speculating right now. We'll get some expertise on that, maybe from our correspondents in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of correspondents all over the world, and we are basically getting some of their best notes in. And I also would like to invite you to let us know what you think is going to happen after the coronavirus. I mean, whatever you think. I mean, right now, I think it is a giant mastermind, just basically thinking, because it's new territory. It's a blank canvas. And where we are going, it's going to be completely different. So let us know how you're going to be reinventing yourself. Make sure to join us in our in our group. We're having already some great conversations. bit.ly give me paper. That is just great. I mean, we want to be in touch. We want to help each other. Once again, we are connecting from the heart. So I think that's just a very important part. Well, just before we actually close, we mentioned yesterday that we were going to show you how a virtual choir worked. Now, why is this important? Yesterday, we showed you how the Philharmonic Orchestra of Rotterdam was playing, different instruments in a different place. Well, the same thing happens with the choir. This is an important thing because right now we are going to be dealing more and more, and this is one of the things that I think is going to change tremendously after the lockdown, after the quarantine, is that companies are going to start realizing, well, if I have 100 employees and I have 10 different buildings to have them working in, because of course I am renting this place here and I have this place here, why am I paying so much money in rent if I can actually have people working directly from home? This is one of those things that I believe is going to be changing dramatically because people are going to understand that telecommuting is very important. So this is going to propose a challenge to most managers, which is how do I keep everybody coordinated? And what I learned by watching this virtual chorus or this virtual choir, it's absolutely fascinating. So I'm just gonna play it for a moment, and then I'm gonna tell you where you can actually go and get I mean, the guy that teaches this technology he created a very nice course in how to actually do this, and I think that you're going to find it fascinating. You can just go download it for free. You don't even have to use your email, but it's really absolutely fascinating information. So I let you see it for a moment, and then Dave and I will come up and comment.
The starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Come on, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, study.
What do you think, Dave? Isn't it fascinating?
That sounds beautiful, first of all, and I find that you've now created an earworm. That's going to be bouncing around in my head now for the next 24 hours, those few lines. Yeah, really nice, and it clearly shows that when you've got the technology correct, you can get everybody to work together and create something that's completely beautiful. The thing is, for anybody who's running a business and wants to use the analogy of what we just seen there on how they can implement it in their own company, you have to have people who want to do it like that. You have to have people who are dedicated. Now, if they're singers, then that's easy because they've all got a singular passion. But what you'll find out very quickly amongst your staff is how many people were doing it for the money, and how many people are doing it for the camaraderie, and how many people are going to be surfing for something else to do during their time at home. So I think there's a lot of questions to be asked as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what you need to take into consideration is that this is something that companies are going to realize. I mean, it is a lot cheaper and a lot more effective to have people working from home. But of course, I mean, it's going to require training, not only from the people's perspective, I mean, from the people working in the organization perspective, but also from the management perspective. And I think this is one of those things that we're going to explore little by little. But anyway, I would like to let you know that if you would like to download or get access to the course that the creator of this put together is called, go to bit.ly/do it says viral, it's virtual. It's I am missing the T. It's actually virtual choir, so that needs to be corrected, please. It's do a virtual choir,
Right.
VIRTUAL choir, and you can get it there. I think it's going to be super valuable.
Note to self: next time we leave anything for people to write down, we must make sure it's spelled properly.
That is correct. That's a very good note to self. I am. That is something that I always ask everybody, because my sometimes my spelling needs tremendous checking. So anyway, it's virtual choir. So Dave, this has been I think the longest show we have ever done. I think it's been fascinating with great information, but I think it's time to let everybody go. And I would like you guys to join us tomorrow. Please make sure to join us tomorrow at noon Central Daylight Time in the United States, or 21 hours Dubai time. This is Ernesto Verdugo, and
This is Dave Crane. Have a great day. See you soon.
Have an amazing day.